Hey everybody, welcome back around the Blog and Grill. I'm your host Doug here, video blog for November 6th, 2013. I'm going to break down some MLB free agency trouble for the New York Knicks, my Heisman top 3, but first I want to get to one of the big debacles of the past weekend, the Richie Icognito bullying scandal, I guess you could call it. And I just want to go out on a limb and say I didn't talk about it much on Monday. And this is what you'll notice from watching a lot of blogs, that I'll bring the facts to you, but I'm not going to bring in an opinion until I feel comfortable of making an educated opinion about the situation. And now after a couple days of going through some stuff, I now feel I can talk about it knowledgeably, so I'm going to talk about it right now. And I think right now the situation's bad in Miami. Now it's coming down to coaches who might have egged on Richie Icognito, which I don't think they egged him on to the extent he went to. I think this guy will be out of the league. He could be out of the league for good. And you know it's bad when a guy has to leave his job. Jonathan Martin had to leave his job, couldn't handle the situation. It was a tough situation he was in. I can't say I blame the guy. I don't think this is a case of a player being misunderstood. Richie Icognito has never been a good guy, voted the dirtiest player in the NFL a couple years ago. Just not a good guy to be around. The thing that sickens me, I think, the most is probably that all the Dolphins players are backing him after his comments he made, all saying he's a good teammate. Of course he's a good teammate. He's a good football player, but he's an absolute sleazeball of a human being. Richie Icognito needs to figure out his problems before they get into more of a legal issue, and he finds himself in jail. I think what Richie Icognito has to do is he has to step away from football, really try to focus on getting his life straight, and then maybe come back to football, because he is just in a bad place right now. And I think probably what Jonathan Martin has said he's done, he has done, because it would not surprise me at all. I think the players need to stop backing him, and really Icognito needs to be gone for a little bit. And maybe some of the coaching staff has to go too. But there will be wholesale changes in Miami. And I think this is just a one-player thing. I don't think other players were involved. I think it was a Richie Icognito thing only. It was an isolated incident, but it was a bad one. And then Icognito needs to pay for what he's done. So we'll, of course, keep you updated on all the news headlines going on with that. But now I'm going to get to my NFL Week 9 awards. First, my Fantasy Player of the Week is going to be Andre Johnson, bringing in 54 points as a wide receiver for the Texans. My Offensive Player of the Week is going to go to the Philadelphia Eagles quarterback Nick Foles. 7 touchdown passes. You throw 7 TDs, you're likely going to be the Offensive Player of the Week. And finally, my Defensive Player of the Week will be Sean Smith. 100 yards, a 100-yard interception return for a touchdown for the Chiefs in their win over the Bills as they move to 9-0. We'll have some more NFL on Friday, but now some more college football. Let's get to the Heisman top 3. Dropping all the way from 1 to 3, I have Jameis Winston. He's thrown for 2,502 yards, 24 TDs, 6 interceptions. He's also ran for 3 scores, so he's accounted for 27 touchdowns and around 2,600 yards. So I have him in at my 3rd position. Number 2, I just have Johnny Manziel. He doesn't have the record the other 2 guys have, but he has the numbers. Over 3,000 total, over almost 3,500 yards of total offense. 26 touchdowns through the air, just 8 picks, and he also has run for 8 scores as well, so very impressive numbers there. He's accounted for 34 touchdowns. And really my top guy is Marcus Mariota right now. Thrown for the least amount of yards, 2,281, but he has better weapons around him. I feel like he's thrown for 20 touchdowns. He's also run for over 500 yards and 9 rushing touchdowns, and he has no picks. I think Marcus Mariota, with a solid performance tomorrow night against Stanford, could really lock up the Heisman, and we'll see what he can do. I like him. Nobody really watches him. I've never heard the guy talk, but we'll see what he can do. I bet you he can make a run at the Heisman for sure. Alright, MLB free agency is underway. Qualifying offers have been sent to all players that they will be sent to. Now it's time to break down my top 5 free agents and where I think they will go. Coming in at number 5, I have the catcher, former catcher of the Atlanta Braves, Brian McCann. Word is he could go to the Yankees. I don't know. I think he's going to go to the Nationals. I think he'll stay in that division. He'll go to the Nationals. The Nationals will pay him, so that's my pick, Brian McCann. going to the Nationals. Number 4, I have Masahiro Tanaka, the Japanese pitcher, and I have him going to the Yankees. I think the Yankees have a nice foothold in the Japanese baseball world. They've got Matsui, Ichiro, we've seen Hiroki Kuroda, we've seen other Asian players, Chen-Ming Wang, come there. So I think the Yankees have the inside track, and I think they will get him and bring him in. He's a lot like a Hiroki Kuroda, so that could be a good fit for the Yankee roster. All right, my number 3 guy is Shin-Soo Choo, the outfielder for the Cincinnati Reds. And I've heard the Seattle Mariners are ready to spend. Seattle draws a lot of Asian players to their teams. It's a very Asian-esque city, so I'm going to take Shin-Soo Choo going to Seattle to the Mariners. The number 2 free agent is Jacoby Ellsbury, the outfielder for the Boston Red Sox. I got Jacoby going to the LA Dodgers. Word is Matt Kemp might not come back. They could get younger. They could get quick in that outfield. They could have Crawford in left, Ellsbury in center, and Puig in right. That is a quick and a very sound outfield defensively. And the number 1 free agent has to be Robinson Cano, second baseman of the Yankees. Word is the Yankees will likely re-sign him. We'll see if they can bring him in. I think they will get him, and I think they will lock him up for probably 6 to 8 years for sure. All right, so that's my MLB free agents. Now I want to talk about more New York, and I want to talk about the New York Knicks, who last night fell to 1-3, a 102-97 loss to the Charlotte Bobcats, really struggling to score the ball. Carmelo Anthony, I think, was 10 of 28 from the field last night, not shooting the ball effectively, and many people are saying this is the free agency wearing on him. He said he was going to opt out at the end of the year and test the free agent markets, and then a couple days ago, he says he wants to retire at Knicks, so we'll see what he does. I hope this isn't affecting him. Also, we've seen Andre Bargnani not do much for him. Meta World Peace had a pretty good game last night, but really some of the free agents just are not panning out. And then last night they lose their best defensive player, Tyson Chandler, with a leg fracture. He's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks, so we'll likely see him back around Christmas time. And if there's any kind of good news going on for the Knicks right now, J.R. Smith is likely to make his debut Sunday against the Spurs, and that'll give him another option to score the ball. Their guards are really playing well. I like what I've seen out of Raymond Felton and Iman Shumpert. They both played great. Big guys really struggling. Stoudemire came back last night, didn't do much. And there's going to be questions asked to Mike Woodson, but I think they can get it going. They have a nice stretch coming up. If they can get by the Bobcats, I think tomorrow night they play the Bobcats, then Sunday they will play, or Friday night they play the Bobcats, and then Sunday they'll be back at it against the Spurs. So hopefully they can get it done against those two teams, get back to 500, and then they can go from there. And I think the Knicks still can make a run at the playoffs for sure. Just a slow start, and I think they'll get it going. Carmelo needs to just start to come into his own, try not to do too much, and I think the Knicks will be fine, so we'll see what happens. But right now, it is dark times in New York. All right, so Friday I'll be back with football, Pick'em, college, and pro. Also, we'll do some BCS implications after tomorrow night's game, and I'll also tell you who to sit and who to play this fantasy weekend. Always remember, follow me on Twitter, YankeeBaller415. Comment, question, subscribe to my page. Thanks for tuning in to Blog and Grill. I will see you on Friday. Have a nice rest of the week, and we'll see you then.